Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Bill Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. This is a recap of the latest video that I did earlier this morning. Basically, that Klay Thompson suffered a lower leg injury yesterday. The MRI came out earlier this afternoon, and it basically feared the worst. So Klay Thompson is pretty much done for the rest of the 2020-21 season due to a ruptured Achilles tendon in his right leg. According to Agent Waltonhowski of ESPN, pretty much the leg was just pretty much the Achilles was just completely torn off the bone, and he's going to be out for the entire season. And I got to say, you have to feel for Klay Thompson because he was recovering back since he injured that left ACL ACL in the 2019 NBA Finals in Game 6, and it's been 500 plus days since he had the injury, and he's been pretty much rehabbing. He was getting back into the rhythm of things, and he was getting ready to start out the new year, ready to prove once again he's still one of the league's best. And then all of a sudden, this comes up. I mean, you just got to feel for him. And I got to say, Achilles tendon injury is a very difficult injury for many basketball, football, and baseball players. You know what I'm saying? Even hockey too, because your game is pretty much on lateral quickness, and you have to push off on your feet a lot. And there've been a lot of players in the course of NBA history that have not been able to be the same after they recover from that Achilles tendon injury. Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons, he was going to retire after the 93-94 season, but he ruptured his Achilles tendon on the final week of the season, and that pretty much ended his career right there. Dominique Wilkins back in 92, ruptured his Achilles tendon injury in January of that year, but he was able to come back, and have one of his better seasons of his career. Even though he was not known for defense, he was still pretty much an explosive scorer, regardless. Um, Another case, Kobe Bryant. Remember he ruptured his Achilles tendon against the same team, Golden State, and he pretty much was never the same after that. And then the injuries kept piling on, and it was pretty much the end of that. And also Kevin Durant too ruptured his Achilles tendon too in the NBA Finals in 2019 as well, and he's going to be back, this year. So you got to feel for these athletes, especially for a guy like Klay Thompson, because mentally this has to distraught you because you were working so hard to get back into shape, to get back into playing basketball again, competitive basketball, and certainly there was a lot of expectations for the Warriors to pretty much get back into the championship race with your dominant backcourt, and now with Klay Thompson pretty much out for the rest of the year once again, it's really going to derail things. So we'll see what happens with the Warriors from that point forward. But I think that Klay Thompson is going to be back from this. He'll be fine. My concern is going to be more on the defensive end because when he was healthy, he was one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's not Jimmy Butler, elite type of defense, but he was pretty much one of the better defenders in the NBA. When you basically look at his career achievements and all that stuff, Klay Thompson, has been known historically for his shooting, but he was on the all defensive team in 2019. The same year that he injured his knee. So, I'm going to be more concerned about his defense because he has to be able to move, shift your feet, and be able to push off, the defend. So he might not be the same, excellent defensive player that he once was. But in terms of his offense, it's not going to be a concern. And he just turned 30. So it's not like he's an old aging player. He's going to turn 31, in February. So I'm not concerned about, his long term longevity because the fact is he's a shooter. And all you need to do with Klay Thompson is set a screen for him and he's going to get a knockdown, an open shot. I mean, he's pretty much done that throughout his entire career. And when his career's said and done, I think he'll be basically have a great case of going into the Hall of Fame when his career is over with. But it is what it is, guys. But it's a tough deal, man, because you feel for a lot of these athletes. They put so much work in to put their bodies in the best premium shape, and sometimes we take for granted what these guys go through on an everyday basis because they make a lot of money, and we're supposed to be like, hey, you make a lot of money, you're supposed to be get out there and play. But people don't understand how much they put their bodies through all the time to be the best in best shape in terms of their lives, but also to be able to provide for their families too. And so it affects a lot of these athletes more than what we realize. And so at the end of the day, I wish nothing for the best for Klay Thompson as he goes back into rehab once again and get his Achilles tendon injury back to normal again. But I don't expect him to retire immediately. I've basically overheard some people saying like, oh, I think he's going to retire after this. No, I don't believe that at all. All right, he's not done yet. Yes, it's a very difficult situation, but he's not done yet. He's not like a slasher. Okay, when Grant Hill had his ankle injuries in 2000, that was deeply significant because Grant Hill was never known for shooting. He was known for playmaking and slashing. All right, and when he had his ankle injury in the 2000 playoffs against Miami, it pretty much derailed his career, several years. Even though he made one All-Star appearance back in 2005 with the Magic, he had to really change his entire game from a slasher to a defensive stopper and a spot-up shooter, and still was able to be a playmaker at times. But he was not the same explosive playmaker that he was when he was in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And for Penny Hardaway too, when once he had his knee injuries, it pretty much took away all of his explosiveness, and he was just never the same player after that. But I don't expect that to be the case for Klay. I think that his game won't have to adjust too much because he's pretty much a spot up shooter. So I'm not too worried about his offensive game because all you got to do, like I said, all you got to do with Klay is set a screen for him and he's going to knock down open jump shots. You get him in the transition on the wing, he's going to knock down open jump shots. He's not a terrific shot creator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could create at times, but that's not what his game is about. He's not like a Steph Curry where he could basically break you off the dribble and then get his shot off. That's not what his game is all about. But best wishes for him and his family. I'm sure that they're distraught of what's going on right now. But I do believe that he will be back from this, and he's going to make a full recovery, and is going to continue to prove once again that he's one of the best shooters of all time, and bring himself back to the same level that he once was before he got injured. So, best wishes for him. It's going to be tough for the Warriors once again. They're still going to be in the playoff mix, but I don't know if they're going to be, like I say, a championship level, team, considering what they lost, in terms of their backcourt. I know Curry's going to be back. Green's going to be back. Wiseman is a young rookie, but he's going to have a lot to learn as he, grows into his frame. So we'll see what happens from here on in. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below.